Yeah, we were discussing till yesterday about we just knew the features that is there in the Object Studio, which is different from the Process Studio, right? That is something we discussed. Okay, and now that we have gone through few of the details, we can proceed to understand in the flow. So as I said, Blue Prism comes up with its own standard utilities, and we are going to create our custom utilities, in the Object Studio, and we can also call the standard utilities. So how the standard utilities are called and how do we use them? I'll just let you know. So to use the utilities, we have to use this particular action, thing, which I haven't covered in process. Okay, so same concept is here, okay, in object. So I have left it deliberately because of something else. I'll let you know. So guys, when I drag the action, you can see that it says there's a business object that we need to select and the action that we need to select. Okay, for example guys, there are a lot of standard utilities which are given by Blue Prism. Okay, to start with, maybe I'll just open something and we'll just see. So you can see some people names are mentioned like Naveen, all those things. Okay. So like here our things are listed out. Okay. Some people's name are listed out. So whatever you are seeing there, where people under a subcategory of a particular person along with their objects is nothing but the custom objects that they have created. However, Blue Prism comes up with the standard utilities also. For example, let me go and show you. These are all standard utilities, technical activities. Okay, so these are all the standard utilities which are provided by Blue Prism. So if I go and select Excel VBO, okay, and then you can see that how many standard utilities we have got. Okay, like close all instances, close current workbook, close workbook, copy and paste worksheet range, create instance, create workbook, create worksheet, cut, delete, okay, find empty cells, format current cells. Okay, get worksheet as collection. So against worksheet, against Excel, you can see a tremendous amount of work, tremendous amount of utilities are given, for which you don't have to write any code. You just call them and it does the operation for you. You just have to give the workbook or the worksheet name what you want. Okay, that's it. So this is how we call a particular workbook. Okay, sorry, a particular standard utility. Okay, so this is how we call it. So let us, I have also done the same thing. You can see that in the action there is an action here. So I have taken a numeric operation and I'm trying to find an absolute value. I've given as an input as an absolute input, I have stored it in a variable called value, and I am giving the absolute value and the output in the output value. Okay, so let us run. Okay, so you can see that the value is 12.33. So absolute value of 12.33 is 12.33. So if you see in the output, it will come. Okay, so let me just run. Got it? Yeah. So basically, guys, what happens is, these are some of the standard utilities which are available. So our purpose over here is not only to use standard utilities, but also to create custom utilities. Okay. So that, certain features which we are not able to achieve, we will be able to do it. Now your question would be coming like, why do I need to create utilities? Okay, if my requirement is like that, I can directly create in the process. Why do I have to create an utility in Object Studio? Guys, what happens is, it is not a recommended practice to create everything in Process Studio. And second thing is, when you integrate your application with an external system, you would need application modeler, which is not available in the Process Studio. So every time you have to come and integrate any date, when you are creating a custom utility, the 90% chances are there you are integrating with an external application. So in such cases, what happens is, you have to go ahead and create it here, because the option of application modeler is not available in the process. And why do we have to call it in the process? The reason being, Process is the ultimate solution that we are going to give to the end user or the client. Okay, with that assumption, we are going to, with that understanding, it is going to work. Okay, so now we'll understand the concept of application modeler. Okay. So if I click on application modeler, okay, this is how it starts. Okay, it will ask. So guys, always remember that inside a object, always an object will be associated with an application modeler. Okay, if you don't have an object, you cannot create an application modeler. Always it has to be related to each other. Okay, so now uh, let us go ahead and see what does application modeler do for us. Okay, so if I click on application modeler, it is asking me to define a new application modeler, okay, or share the application modeler of another object, or do not use an application modeler with this object, okay. However, we will go with the new application model because we have to define it, okay. So the name of the application modeler is by default taken as the object name. If you would like to change, you can change it here, okay. But it's a recommended practice that always have the same name as the object name so that you do not get confused which application modeler was defined for which object, okay. So define a new application model, okay. Then it is, see, it is giving four type of applications, you know, from integrating. One is Windows, one is Java based, one is browser based, one is mainframes, okay. So now your question will be, how can I integrate my databases? How can I integrate SAP systems? How can I integrate TIPCO systems? How can I integrate IBM systems? Where do I go there? Only four options are available, guys. Although these are four operations, it can go beyond it. For example, when I say browser based, if you're accessing the SAP URL and logging in, you can still use a browser based application and perform the activity. So when you're using like databases, please go ahead and use Windows based application and you would be able to perform the activity. Okay. So here I would say I would take a browser based application, okay, and then I would proceed. Okay, so it says that what type of application you are using. Are you using a browser which is already running or a browser that is launched from an executable file? Okay, guys, always go for the second option. Okay, what happens is if you go for a browser which is already running, what if your abruptly the browser is closed? In that case, it would not be able to find it. Okay, that's the reason why it's always better you go for the second one, because you are going to launch it again when you log in. Okay, basically that's when you try to do some activity. So basically always go for the second option, that is a browser that is launched from an executable file. Okay, and then you have to give the path of your executable file. So you always will find that this iExplorer or this Internet Explorer browser files would be available in your program files in the C drive. Okay, you just proceed to get that. Okay, just give that particular path. You can browse and get that path, and then you just click on which URL you want to log in. For example, I give google.com. Okay, so now if I click on it, exclude HTC components. Okay, so basically HTC components are nothing but these components takes more inputs. Basically these captures the extra parameters in the web pages which is not required. So basically if you exclude, it will increase the performance. The reason being, it will not capture the unnecessary components which are not needed. Okay, so basically always you know go ahead and exclude HTC components, and then it should be by default embedded system, and you are done. So you have already integrated in the application modeler. Okay, so this is how it opens. By default it would look like this. Okay, so just let's wait Michael for some time. I think Ganesh got disconnected. Let him connect back. Okay, Srinivash, can you just check if Ganesh is joining back because it's an important topic, so I'll just hold back till he joins. Hi, Michael. We'll just wait for some time because this is going to be important. If I just proceed, he would not be able to understand. So just wait for a minute's time till he joins back. Thank you. Thanks for your patience. URL. Okay. So let us go back and see how did we define it. Okay. So maybe it should be. So once you click here, you would be in a position to understand, whether your application is working or not, whether the right URL you have given or not. Okay. So if you see, it is trying to launch now. Okay. Let us see what it is doing. Good. It is able to open. Okay. So our application is launching now. Okay. So the next step is, we need to, for example, I need to, see, okay, which is my text box search area. Okay. So I need to identify my search area. So what I have to do is I have to rename. Okay. Rename it what? It is a search bar. Okay. And I need to identify. Okay, so yesterday I was talking about the spying of element. Okay, identifying something is nothing but spying. Okay, so I will click on the spy of the element. Okay, once I click on spy element, okay, you can see that one screen is hovering on my, one icon is hovering here on the right panel or left panel. Okay, so it gives you different modes of spying. Okay, so I have taken here the HTML. First mode is HTML mode of spying. In order to do the spying, you have to click on Control and left left click in your mouse. Okay, so I'll do Control and left click. So you can see that all my parameters which is there, okay, associated with that particular field is picked over here. Okay, so you can see all the parameters are available over here. Okay, these are nothing but the backend HTML code tags which is associated with the same search bar or the same area. So once I have got the details, I will click on highlight. Okay, if it is highlighting the right box, that means I've spied properly. Then I can click on apply and I can click on OK. Okay, after that again I have to do the spying of the another thing. Okay, so I will add one more element like search button. Okay, so the moment I click on search button, again I need to spy the element. Okay, so if you see, our application is already launched. Okay, so I need to now spy the element. Once I do Control Alt, the elements are already captured in my search button details. So all the attributes are captured. So I'll click on highlight to see that if it is highlighting the right text box. Okay, so let me click again here to see if it is highlighting the right text box. Great, it is highlighting the same text box. So now I go and click on apply and OK. Okay. So once I do that, my details are completed. Okay, so whatever I wanted to spy, I have got it. Okay, so now you must be wondering, I mentioned yesterday there are multiple different modes of spying. Okay, so before I show you guys, let me explain you the details. Okay, spying is basically of four types. Okay, one is HTML, one is accessibility, one is Windows Win32, one is region mode of spying. Okay, these are the four modes of spying that are available, in our in our system. Okay, so when you talk about the HTML mode of spying, basically it captures all the HTML tags associated with the field which is spied. Okay, so now coming to accessibility mode of spying. Okay, it is an advanced form of HTML mode of spying. Okay, so it also captures the HTML tags associated with the field, but it will capture all the fields. What happens is, then you must be answering me, you must be questioning me, in which case I do go for HTML, or in which case I have to go for accessibility. Okay, so HTML mode of spying, if you have done a spying using HTML mode of spying and you're able to perform all the action, you're able to identify the field and everything, then please proceed with that. However, in certain cases, you might not be able to perform, or you might not be able to assess the particular field that you've spied. Okay, it is not appearing properly. Okay, in that case, please go ahead and do it with accessibility mode of spying, so that you get extra attributes identified, which will help you to distinguish your particular text box among all. For example, you have 50 text boxes in your page, and if you have done with HTML mode of spying, maybe two or three text boxes are clashing with one another. Okay, however, if you go with accessibility mode of spying, you capture extra fields, extra attributes which differentiate among themselves. Okay, but yes, using HTML also you can distinguish between different things. I would let you know how. Okay, but for beginners, if you are facing such challenges, just move on for an accessibility mode of spying. You would solve the issue immediately. However, I would let you know which are the key differentiating fields in HTML mode of spying, which will stop you from respying an element. Okay, coming to Win32 mode of spying. So Win32 mode of spying is basically used to spy Windows kind of application. Okay, so if you have such kind of application, please proceed to you know use that mode of spying and perform the activity. And coming to region mode of spying. Okay, for example, just take the example of a shopping site like Amazon. Okay, so if you see, the moment you open Amazon, okay, so the Amazon web page consists of so many different parts. Okay, right? So what happens is, for example, you if you log in, you see a lot of flashing things, like okay, like if you buy electronic gadgets, you get today 50% off. Please use this code to get another 10% off extra. So a lot of catchy things which are available in the in the web page, which keeps on hovering, if it keeps on changing. Okay, so in such cases, for example, I have a requirement where I need to capture the uh, particular coupon code, or the offer code which is available in the Amazon site for most of the branded categories like electronic gadgets, clothing, then you have home decor and other things. Okay, so if you want to do that, if you want to read something from a particular place, okay, so in that case please go ahead with the reason mode of spying. Okay, so these are the various modes of spying. How do I interchange between different modes of spying? I will go ahead and show you now. So remember one thing, guys, in order to, move, hover between different modes of spying, you have to click on Alt, Control Alt, and in order to spy the element, you have to press Control right click, sorry, left click, and in order to move out of the, this spying thing, you have to click on Control right click. Okay, so these are some of the commands. So I repeat again, if you want to hover between different spying modes, you have to click Control Alt. If you want to spy the element and capture the details, please click on Control left click. And if you want to exit the spying window, then please do Control right click. Okay, so now let us go back to our application and see how I hover between different modes of spying. Suppose I click on identify. Yes. So this is my page from where I want to do it. Okay. So you can see that initially it is HTML mode of spying. I do Control Alt. It is Win32. Control Alt. It is accessibility mode. Control Alt. It is reason mode. So when I do Control Alt, I keep on changing the file. So now I have done Control left click. So my details are captured over here. Okay, if I highlight, it is highlighting the right one, right? So if I click on apply and OK, that means my element has been done. Okay, so you can now click on Control left click in order to exit and come back to the screen. Okay, so this is how it works. Yes, Michael, I will go one by one. Okay, to start with, I'm just going with a smaller example. I'll go with all the cases. I'll also show you how to do reason mode of spying. So, okay, probably I'll show you what a big deal in that. Okay, so now if this is my application which is launched, okay, and if I open, suppose I want to add one element called read web read web page. Okay. Now I want to click on identifying. Okay, so now what I will do is, okay, I'll click on Control Alt. Okay, now this is my reason mode of spying. So in the reason mode of spying, you will first select the entire reason. Okay, so I selected Control Alt. I did the entire reason mode of spying. Okay, so if you go here, guys, this is my reason which is captured now. Okay, this is the entire reason. Okay, apply. Okay, so if I go here, my reason mode of spying contains all the information. Okay, this is my reason mode of spying. Okay, if I click on if I click on highlight, it is highlighting my entire reason. Okay, so now I can go ahead and create sub reasons against it. Okay, so if I add a child element, okay, suppose add a search, I will just search bar if I wanted to. If I click on spy element, okay, and if I go for reason mode of spying, one more. is already captured over here. Okay, so what it is telling that already I have captured already the same reason in the reason mode of spying, so it is not allowing me. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to highlight it first. Okay, once I highlight it, okay, let me just do a control. So now that I have to highlight it. Okay, so you can see it is already highlighting. If I want to spy anything in between that, okay, so view, okay, so now I can go and create a reason. Okay, already have captured. If I want to create sub-regions, so this is one reason. I captured Google search. So it is giving me all the details. I click on apply and I click on OK. So you can see that my reason is captured. So I'll give it as search button. Okay. So now if I click on apply and OK, so I have done this. Okay, great. So you are able to see. However, I will show you the details. Okay, so basically this is how we do a reason mode of spying. Okay, so just I gave you a glimpse how it works, but I'm going to show you all the details. Okay, there is nothing to worry. Since we just started off, now we should be clear how we proceed for a spying. So remember the thumb rule is Control Alt to hover between different modes of spying, then Control Alt to hover. That's what I told. Control left click to get all the properties associated with a particular spine. Then you have control right click to basically exit from the application window screen and come back to your object screen. Okay, so guys, this is something, this is how we do a reason mode of spying. Okay, or this is how we do spying, and this is how we get the details. Okay, only getting the details into the screen is not enough for us, right? Or only capturing the details, whatever of the elements that we want to integrate with from an application, or we need those elements to work with the application, is not sufficient. We need to click on them. We need to, for example, if I have spied a search button, how can you use the search button? I need to click on the button, right? So how do I click on the button? If I have taken a text box, how do I write something inside the text box and click on the search button? Only if I write something in the search box and click on the button, then only my functionality is working, right? Just spying the elements is not enough, right? So we need to perform certain other actions, in order to, make use of the application that we have integrated in our, in our case. Okay, so in order to do that, in order to show you the thing, I am going to, do a particular different example where I would use the concept of read, write, press, navigate, click, all those things I am going to use. Okay, so I will be doing that. Before that, I want to go give you a heads up of that application which we're going to integrate with and which we'll see. Okay, so these are some of the details that we're going to do. Okay, so let me tell you guys. So there would be something called an order management system. Okay, this is an external application, guys. I will be integrating with it to our Blue Prism. Okay, this example we will do. Okay, then we have to log into the application, very obvious thing. Then we have something called sign in. Sorry, we have to launch the application. Okay, without launching, can you perform the action? No. You have to launch the application. You have to sign in to the application. Sign in. Perform necessary action. in this case, since it's an order management system, I'll add some orders. Okay, and then you will exit the application. Okay, so this is something we're gonna do. Okay, I'll walk you through this example. I will create the details. So the reason I have gone for this is when I say launch the application, okay, I need to have the application spiked. Great. When I say sign in, I am going to write the details into the application, like the username and the password. Okay. When I have to perform necessary action, I go ahead and choose which action I want. There are multiple actions given. So I'm doing a choose operation. I'm going to select something. Okay. After that, again, I'm writing some application. And again, for exiting, I'm also writing an application, writing the number or giving a command to my application that boss, I have done all possible actions. Please proceed for the closure of the application. This is how I would be going to explain you guys the details. Okay. So now see, if you see here, I haven't told you one more important thing. Okay, let me refresh. Okay, so when I say if you look at the application modeler, there is something called launch button. Okay, the moment I click on launch button, okay, you can see that here it is becoming detached. I don't know whether you guys noticed it or not. Okay, so the moment I launch my application, okay, let me show you here. The moment I launch my application, it is by default in the launch stage, okay, when it is not launched. So the moment I launch it, it becomes detached. Okay, there are two options of launching it. Either you can open the application model and launch it from here, or else you can do it from here. If you click on launch also, it will launch you the web page. Okay, so basically guys, once the application is launched, it is basically in the attached state. Okay, yesterday if you remember in the PPT I mentioned something about attach and detach, right? So the moment you launch the application, it is in the attached stage. Okay, in order to proceed further, you need to in order to close the application, you need to detach it. The moment you close it, okay, it gets back to the launch stage. Okay, what you can do instead is, for example, this is already launched, right? So if I click on it, it will detach. Let me refresh. I have launched the application. If I close it, it again goes back to launch stage. Okay, this is how the different stages here will be denoted: either launch, attach, detach, application modular. So guys, I think we are clear with the application modular by now. Okay, so when I do next time spying, when I use application modular and start integrating my application to an external system, I believe that you would be comfortable with the idea. The reason being, we know what does launch means, we know what does attach means, we know what does detach means, and what are the different modes of spying available, and how to spy the element, where to see the elements, where do I find the differences. In all these things you are able to know, and we cover these things now. Okay, so the next part would be to understand how do we read, write, navigate, wait stages, whatever we had in our PPT, how do we use them. So guys, when I start building the next application, okay, in that case you would be able to understand all other features. Okay, so my approach of learning over here, teaching you, would be in this way. Okay, so since we are going to do a real-time solution here, okay, so what I would intend is, the two things. I'll first cover few details. I'll pause, take the classes for exceptions and the queue management. Okay, that two important, very, very important concepts. Okay, it will take 2 to 3 classes each module. Okay, one is error management. One is case management. Case management is, you guys are now clueless about it, but this is also a very important topic. Okay, so guys, in the case of error management, I would cover exception, recover, resume, and block concept. Okay, in the case of case management, it's an independent thing. Okay, So tomorrow when I build the application, I'll cover read, write, navigate, wait stages, and your other modules, okay, whichever we have left. I think we covered action today. Okay, still are these things are pending. Multi calculation is pending. Our choice is pending. We have from our previous process classes. Okay, and these things are pending, so these things I'll be covering tomorrow. Okay, after that I would proceed to follow the other things, and then we'll again come back and use, because when you do a real-time solution, you need to know how to define exceptions. You need to know how to process the data. Okay, when you have huge number of data, how do I go ahead and process them? So all these concepts are very, very extremely important for all of us to understand. So guys, it's my sincere request, for at least next 5 to 6 classes, do not dare to miss it, because you may go through the recorded sessions definitely, or you may ask me questions if you have missed, but my sincere suggestion would be to join the classes and ask the questions then and there, because it is very, very important. Otherwise I would not emphasize on this point. Okay, so I would stop here. The reason being, I have to, if I start here, I need to show something and it will take some time. Okay, so let's connect tomorrow. Okay, so we will discuss on all the details. Okay, so tomorrow is very, very important for you guys. Okay, because we are going to integrate with a real-time solution that is really going to be exciting. At the same time, we will use other parameters and see how does it behave. Okay, so is it fine, guys? Okay, cool. So we'll wind up here, okay? And we will connect tomorrow and we'll just understand the details at the same time.
Pinky, I just missed today class for first 10 minutes. Can I get the recording session of today's class?
Yeah. Just connect with Srinivas. He would be the one who would be able to help you with the recorded session.
Yeah. And please also send me the notes like today's and yesterday's notes.
Yeah, today there is no notes for it because it's not completed. It's still going on there. Okay. So I will send you later. Okay, Michael, you have a question, right? Okay. Question though, is there a way for Blue Prism to do this automatically without swing the units? Yes, it would be able to do it. Since I'm explaining you guys, that's the reason why I'm opening and making you feel it, where it is exactly happening. The moment you start, we start using it, you would not be seeing how does it open and all these things. It will, it will just open the window, the actual end interface for you guys. It will not show what is happening inside your Blue Prism. That is not going to happen. Yeah, exactly the way you think, the same way it behaves. Okay, yeah, great. Thank you. So yeah, so let's connect, guys. It's a sincere request, do not miss the class for tomorrow and subsequent couple of classes. Be available because it's very, very important. You will find it interesting and you would feel it. Yeah, so that's all from my end. Let's connect tomorrow and let's discuss. Yeah. Thank you.